Foreclosure sales are on a sharp rise right now since the September foreclosure moratorium came to an end. Hey guys, hi, Anthony Nitz here with eXp Realty. I don't hear a lot of people talking about this right now, but this is something that I've been talking about for months when I do my mortgage updates and things like that. I mean, not my mortgage updates, my real estate updates, because this is one of those things that I think people are kind of putting in the back of their mind and they're not really paying attention to, because after all, the market's so hot. The inventory is beyond ridiculous low. If you don't watch my mortgage, or I keep saying that, real estate updates, you need to go back and watch some of those and see that the number of homes that are coming on the market is minuscule. So you have a extreme shortage of supply, but a huge demand. So I think people are not thinking about the foreclosures very much because, well, nobody wants to think about foreclosures. Foreclosures are horrible. They're a horrible thing. But they're out there and they're coming back pretty darn strong. So now I kind of geek out on this stuff, and I watch these numbers a little bit just so I can kind of see if there's any real trends that are happening. And let me just show you what some of the things that I noticed, and a couple of red flags for me that are saying, hey, we need to be aware of what's going on because it's going to cause a shift in the marketplace, or I believe it will cause a shift in the marketplace. It might not. I don't have a crystal ball to say that. All I have is numbers and data to look at. So, if we come in here, let's look at this chart here real quick. These numbers that I have here, I have the NOD filing numbers and the NOT filings. What that means is NOD, Notice of Default. It's the initial document that gets filed when the lender says, okay, you haven't made your payments. We're going to foreclose. They have to file this document that says NOD, Notice of Default. And what that gives you is it gives you 90 days to remedy the situation, if you will, right? So bring your payments current. Okay, and now we're not going to get foreclosed on because when a lender files an NOD, they have to wait a minimum of 90 days before they can initiate the sale of the property and actually take it back from you. So they can wait longer. They can wait longer than 90 days. That's that's their prerogative, but they have to wait a minimum of 90. So that's Notice of Default, and then NOT is the document that they file subsequent to that, which is Notice of Trustee Sale, that says, okay, that's it. We are selling the property at a foreclosure auction, and we are going to, and the title will transfer to a new owner, and you don't own it anymore, Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner, and you have to vacate the property, or the sheriff will evict you. Like I said, foreclosures are a horrible thing, but it's kind of what happens when you don't pay your mortgage, whatever the reason. We're not even questioning the reason here. We're just saying that this is kind of just the process, and it always has been. Anyways, we go back here and we look at prior to the pandemic, right? Pandemic was announced as a national emergency on March 13th in 2020. But before that, we had, if you look, and by the way, this is Orange County only. This is no other areas. This is only Orange County for single family residents and for condos. That's it. Okay. So in January 2020, we had 175 notice of defaults. We had 159 in February and 121 in March. Well, pandemic hits, and there you go. April, it drops to 73, and then 43 in May, and 45 in June, and so on. And if you look at these numbers, it kind of just follows the trend of 40s to 50s. I mean, got down into the 30s a couple of times. And people say, well, wait a minute, I thought there was a foreclosure moratorium. You can't do that. Well, the foreclosure moratorium was primarily for more federally backed loans. So if you had a Freddie Mae or Fannie Mae loan, or you had an FHA or even a VA loan, then that's where the moratorium applied. Well, it just so happens that all mortgages are federally backed, but not all of them. So these other people who were either private lenders, or it was somebody who was just carrying back a note who said, yeah, fine, just make payments to me. And and they just said, hey, sorry, no, I'm not subject to the same rules, and you gotta catch up payments or get out of the house. I mean, is really what it came down to. So that's probably what we're looking at when we're looking at the 40, give or take. And considering the number of homes that are in Orange County, that's nothing. That is peanuts. Okay. So you look at that, you follow that, and you go, okay, makes sense. Well, July, you see that the foreclosure moratorium, basically saying you cannot be kicked out of your house for not paying, comes to an end for federally backed mortgages in July. Okay. Well, notice in May and June, those numbers start to go up as far as the NOD filings go. Why? Because all they're doing is filing the notice of default. They're not taking any action, which is followed by the notice of trustee sale, right? They're not taking any action or anything like that. So notice of default is being filed, just putting them a notice. Hey, it's going to happen. Okay. So May and June, those numbers jump up, and then they kind of just drop back down again in October and everything. So now we're instead of the, 50-40 range, now we're jumping up to the 70-80 range as far as notice of defaults being filed. But there's something else I want you to see here real quick. If you take a look at the notice of trustee sales filed, you have to understand that when there's notice of defaults that are filed, but then a lot of people cure them. They bring them current. They go to a friend. They get a loan. They get a whatever to get those payments, brought back up to speed. So usually there's a whole lot less notice of trustee sales filed than there are notice of defaults. Okay, so it isn't like there's 100 notice of defaults and then 100 notice of trustee sales. More like 100 notice of defaults and then 30 or 40 notice of trustee sales. Okay. So, but as we look at these numbers here, so it makes sense because mostly these numbers are all lower than the numbers that are over in this column. Okay. Mostly. But then you start to see when you get down here, a consistent increase in October, November, and December, where the numbers are actually higher than the notice of defaults that are filed. Remember, I told you had to wait 90 days once you file a notice of default in order to file the notice of trustee sale. And this is exactly what's happening because so let's say in September, you got 1, 2, 3 months, so back here in June. So what did I say? In June and May, there was a little bit of a bump because they were anticipating that they were going to go ahead and complete the foreclosure after the foreclosure moratorium came to an end in September. Okay. So just when you look at these numbers and you go, okay, what is going on here is that a couple of things. Number one, the lenders have been playing scared because they were basically threatened by the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau, the CFPB, telling them a while back, you better work something out with your customers, with your clients, or else we're going to fine you millions and millions of dollars. And so no lender really wanted to pop their head up and be the first one to just start slapping down foreclosure notices, right? So they've been kind of cautiously coming back into the marketplace. But you can see with these numbers, they're not holding back now. They're starting to increase. And why this is important is because when you combine this with what else is going on very recently, there's an article just today, I'll put it up on the screen. It says that mortgage rates hit an all-time high since March of 2020. Okay, so the rates have gone up. And if you know anything about interest rates, if rates go up 1%, that equates to about $60,000 of buying power for your average home buyer. Okay, so now if all of a sudden all these home buyers are now chopped at the knees where they can only afford $60,000 less, what does that mean to your home sale prices? Well, wait a minute, Anthony, we're still in oh my gosh, crazy, ridiculous hot market. No inventory, no houses on their market. It's only a matter of time because as these foreclosures start to come into the market and the rates start to come down, now you're going to see inventory going up, folks. I've been talking about it for months and months on my market updates, and I think now we're finally seeing what the result of that of all this is going to be, is that there will be a shift in the market. How drastic it will be, I don't know. It might be, because here's the honest truth. Like here, I'll give you an example. In what was it, Tustin Ranch, in December, out of what was 8,000 homes, I think. Out of 8,000 homes, only 9 new listings came on the market, which is nothing. That's nothing, right? So the supply, if that doubled, it still would be nothing. If it quadrupled, it would be okay, but those numbers have to go up quite a bit. But could this do it? So keep an eye on things as we move forward throughout the year. We're in a new year, and we got new things happening, and we got Omicron, and we got, what's going to happen with that? How are people going to react to that? How is the economy going to, be affected by all this stuff? Lots of things, guys. So there you go. There's the numbers. There's the foreclosure numbers. I'll do this more often. I usually don't do it because foreclosures is not a great, big, sexy topic that everybody wants to hear about. But I think it's important. It's important news and information that you need to be aware of. So talk to you soon. Have a great day. Hey, if there's some way we can help you out, please don't hesitate to ask. We've been serving our clients in the Central Orange County area since 1997. So we're here to help you out. All right, take care.